Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. First name's Donnie, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. I hope that you are doing well. Here in Baltimore, it's mild weather, although it's supposed to get very hot today. Back up in the 90s. How you doing out there? I want to thank the good Lord for helping us make it through the night, keeping our hurt, harm, and danger away from our doors. Oh, how we are blessed. I'm reminded how blessed we are in this country. All you got to do is take one trip. There are places in the world that don't have what we have. So we are so fortunate. Running water, gas and electric, indoor plumbing. These things are not a reality everywhere else in the world. There's some places that don't have these things. So we are really blessed and fortunate to be where we are, regardless of how we got here or what happened as we were here in these United States. But despite it all, God is good. I ain't no overly religious person, but I do know to thank the good Lord. There she go. A special good morning to Miss Lisa Pierce. She's helping people get employed. On many of an occasion, I have had to call Miss Lisa to help people get some employment opportunities. And if you need a job, I'm going to put her information up there. If you need a job. Now, Lisa, you got to help me out. What number to give them, Lisa? I don't want to give them the wrong number. I make the mistake sometimes of putting the wrong number out there. To my man, Mr. Manny Price, one of my early supervisors. Back, I was looking to see if I have one around the Sandtown Winchester Viewpoint newspaper, the good old days. It's when we used to rip race and run around Sandtown, delivering that newspaper, writing it. Shout out in heaven to our main man, Dr. Doug Stanton, my dear friend. Now, if you need a job, this lady right here will hook you up. There she go. If you need a job, if you need job training, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, right now she has a surgical tech program. If you need a job, hit this lady right here, Lisa Pierce. And she's tenacious. If you say you want a job, I get calls all the time. And I've historically called, at least as of late, have called on Miss Lisa Pierce. There's another brother out there. Well, there's a brother out there, another person in the same line of work, Brother Moses Hammett. So salam alaikum to Brother Moses Hammett. But they are serious. If you are serious, if you're serious about your career and your future, there are people out here that will help you. On that note, let me take a moment to thank Dr. Tyrone Taborn. He founded Career Communications Group. They are a major sponsor of this network. Guess while I'm talking about them, it would behoove me to put that acknowledgement up here. STEM City USA is all about the metaverse. If you've been watching Facebook, then you've seen the term metaverse. It's the virtual reality thing. You got the goggles on. You see Mark Clark all on social media. He's been on television with his Oculus goggles, learning how to exercise in the virtual world. You can exercise in the virtual world with the goggles on. Just make sure you check your parameters and don't step on the dog. But STEM City USA is the invention, the creation of Dr. Tyrone Taborn to ensure that we, Black people, have a place in the metaverse. Takes me back to Star Trek with LeVar Burton with those fancy eyewear on, with the fancy eyewear on, giving us a taste of what's to come. It is here. Star Trek is here. The Jetsons, it's here. It's already started. And we have to be a part of it. And that's why Dr. Tyrone Taborn's support and investment in this network is so vitally important. And I thank God for him. I thank God that he understands the need to pass the ball. I was reading an article yesterday in the LA Times. It was about Roland Martin. And he talked about his love for Black media. It even shared some of his history, including his days at the Chicago Defender. That's one of the oldest Black newspapers. I appreciate the article. It went into the history of the Black press, going back to the days of Samuel Cornish, John Russwurm. These were the founders of Freedom Journal. Then Frederick Douglass came out with the North Star newspaper. Back in those same days, David Walker, he had David Walker's Appeal. These were the first Black publications, the first Black news publications. And this was during a time when slavery was the law of the land. So the Black press is significant to me, to many of you, considering all that has gone into its creation. And there were some women, Ida B. Wells. I did an article on it after, actually a video that I'm in the middle of making, highlighting the Black press. These were some bold people. I mean, mind you, slavery is going on, and you got some free Black people, because again, not all Black people were slaves. Your people may not have been slaves. Just because of the typical storyline doesn't mean that it's your story. That's why it's important that we all, yes, Nina, the Afro is a historical paper. Nina, do you know who founded the Afro? Do you know where it was founded? But the Black press is significant because nobody's going to tell our story. Frederick Douglass, in his book, The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, Wendell Phillips wrote the foreword. And in that, he said, it is time for the story of the hunt to be told from the perspective of the hunted. I don't always want to take that and embrace it, because I don't see myself as a victim. At the same time, when that was written, Black people were being victimized all across this land. There was war, there is war. And when you look at J6, January 6th, and the people scaling the walls of the Capitol, I hope you realize that there are some people that don't give a rat's bottom about your freedom. And so for those of us with the ability to get on a plane and fly out of the country, that's good. It's good to have dual citizenship somewhere else, like Africa, your home. And then there are those of us who are going to stay here and fight. There are those of us like James Forten, who I write about in this book, thanks to Delegate Tiger Davis. James Forten was not a slave. He fought during the Revolutionary War. He was a patriot. These are just little things about our history that it is imperative that we know. So from the Black press and the founders of it back during the days of slavery, again, John Russwurm, Sam Cornish, Frederick Douglass, David Walker, all the way up to Dr. Tyrone Taborn, Roland Martin, yours truly. The black press has a significant role. Nobody's going to tell our story unapologetically black like the black press. So support the black press. Got a few dollars, you want to advertise, call me, 443-858-2684. We are always affordable. I've never turned down anybody. They may have turned down themselves. They may not have followed instructions. But if you come to me and you're trying to get your product or service out there, generally speaking, I'm going to help you. Okay, so Nina has started it off. Well, hello. Are you calling in to make a comment on the show? You're live on the Donnie Glover Show. We are broadcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. What is your name, sir? Are you being shy? You don't want to speak? Okay, that's what you get for calling me at 9 a.m. I'm on the air. I will put you on blast. So going back to the Afro, as my good friend Terrell. So Nina mentioned the Afro, and it's certainly one of the oldest newspapers. Let's see what Pernitha comes up. John Henry Murphy was the founder of the African American newspaper. And I'm going to tell you, Pernitha, you only got part of the story. That's only part of the story. Pernitha, I'm going to challenge you and ask you what church was involved in the founding of the Afro. The Afro was founded in the basement of a church. It was when John Murphy combined 3 other publications together. So get your history. But there was a church involved. I'm actually a member of that church. And I'll give you a hint. Dr. A.C.D. Vaughn, my man, 500 grand. But nonetheless, the black press is important. I started off citywide writing for the Afro, writing for the Baltimore Times. My first national shot was with the Final Call. Big ups to brother Richard Muhammad, who was very encouraging and always has been. Going back to the Afro, I have to salute Mr. Jakey Oliver. He has always been a mentor. We have not always agreed. There was one time when I was supporting one candidate and he was supporting another, and we both were wrong. But at least, and let me say this, because I've had people come at me, that's our security force. I've had people come at me about you supported this, but I stand by everybody I supported. Win, lose, or draw. I stand by them. And yes, I like making money, but I don't take on a candidate just because they have money or not. There has to be more than that, because my name is going on. You're not going to hear me endorsing something that I don't believe for nobody. And that's the beauty of having your own news outlet. Too many of us become compromised because even our politicians, and there's a politician, I have to do some research on it. They got a bad report on them, a city council person. Got some really disappointing news about this council person. I'm reminded that the city council person really can't do but so much in this city. This is a strong mayor city. It's a strong mayor city, one of the strongest in the United States. And ain't too much a council person can do. Ain't too much a delegate can do. A state senator might get some rhythm. But we live in a situation where the mayor rules, pretty much. And the mayor has a lot of authority, almost as much. No, it was not Bethel AME Church. No. A.C.D. Vaughn. Alfred Vaughn. The Afro was founded in the basement of his church. So I'm just going to save you a headache there, Pranitha. It was Sharon Baptist Church. And not everybody knows this history, but I know it. And you can't BS me. I wanted to get to entrepreneurship. Everybody in America, Black people, you need a business. Everybody in America needs a business. And in the Black community, we especially need our own business. Start your own business, go down to the state office building, file your papers, do it online, whether it's an LLC. You can call Mr. Bob DeShield. He's one of the advertisers on this show. And he will give you all of the details you need to know to get your business started. There you go, Mr. Robert DeShield. He will help you get your business situated. Do your research. But what I'm getting to, and we're going to inspire at least one person today, I assure you. If you have been going through this pandemic thinking about your dream and what you ought to be doing, and you haven't done anything about it, today is your day. Today is the day to stop procrastinating. I don't do too much procrastinating. I set a goal, write it down on the wall. Sometimes you got to put it on your phone. If you don't have a pen with you. I like to write stuff down. You know, like this event we have on August 22nd here in Baltimore, National Black Business Month. Write it down. The idea comes to you. Write down what it is. Write down today's date. So when you go back and look at it, some of these things may, ideas may come back to you. So you wrote down what it is. You wrote down today's date. And then write down some details, what you envision. And I've learned to keep it simple. I try to follow the KISS rule. Keep it simple, stupid. Good friend of mine, Alexis, he says, if you've been running this certain play and it's got you to the championship game, don't get to the championship game and start doing new plays. Put differently, stay in your lane. Do what you do. There's a very phenomenal promoter here in the city of Baltimore. All of the promoters look up to him. LaRon Finney. Now, my business is 20 years old, and I believe his business is about 22 years old. He's been in business for himself about 22 years. But I promised myself, because I'd helped him for 2 years prior to starting my own. And I helped him because I worked at the empowerment zone. And that was my job, to help businesses. But I promised myself when I started my business, 2 years after he started his, that I would not try to be LaRon Finney. I can't be. I'm Donnie Glover. And so I learned early to write down my skill set and to focus on what I do. I'm a journalist. I'm a writer. I do radio. I do media. I do events, but I don't do large events. Generally speaking, at the most, we might have had a couple hundred people, give or take. LaRon does big events, does concerts. I don't do concerts. I don't do entertainment. I don't do parties. Might have a party here or there. That's not what I do. And I've learned to stay in my lane. I do business networking events, typically intimate ones, 100 people. When we do summits, the numbers will go up depending on the venue. And with the pandemic, that's just got us all of us have our minds blown. You want to do an event, and if you're outdoors, you got to be concerned about the weather. We've seen events even this summer canceled because of the weather. You don't know if rain is coming. Might be. So, there's so much to that. You even got to look at an almanac. Remember Benjamin Banneker? He came up with his own almanac. We got to, so much involved with outdoor events. So I tend to stay indoors, controlled environments, Black-owned venues. Or, and this is for me, whether it's Black Wall Street or in the past we've done the Harambe Dinner Club, Black friendly venues. What is Black friendly? You know what Black friendly is? They hire Black people and they treat Black people with respect. I've been in some spots, don't make me call their names, where you wouldn't know if slavery is over. I know because I worked at one of these spots and it still exists today. And the people there quite often don't know that slavery is over, but slavery is over. And those people found out 2 years later, that was Juneteenth, but slavery has been over. And that's a reminder to all of us Black people. You do not have to step and fetch it, buck dance, hem and haw. You don't have to do that. You have to cheese and smile. It's probably one of the reasons that I don't pursue stand-up comedy, because everything ain't funny for me. I tend to want to stay serious. Let some other people crack jokes. I enjoy comedians, and there's some words I can't say the N-word. If there's something I can't do in public, I can't say the N-word, because for me, I'm then giving other people permission to call me that, and that's not happening. So I better lead by example. You will not call me the N-word in public because I'm not allowing it. But this is America. N-word is something we've heard all our lives. I just choose to not use it in public. It don't fit my stilo. But get a business. One of the best things about having a business are the items you can write off on your taxes. I want you to pursue your dreams. Too many, I tell you, one of the things that's most frustrating to many people, they are not doing what they love to do. Lisa Pierce recently offered to help someone dear to me. There's something wonderful that happens when people who want an opportunity are presented with an opportunity. Like when Dr. Taborn said, hey, we want to help you help us. We want you to encourage people to go to STEMCityUSA.com. We want you to encourage people to get involved in the metaverse. Now, the metaverse, a lot of gaming involved, but it's also other things. We're going to be doing some Black Wall Streets inside the metaverse. But follow your dreams, because if God gives you the vision, I assure you, and I've been on the other side where money was funny, didn't have enough to buy oil, coal, huddled around the heater. I don't ever recall being hungry in the past 20 years, though. But there was some nights when I was cold, didn't have enough to get some oil. Oil prices were through the roof, and they still are. But it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's a part of the process. I read recently said we have to embrace the entrepreneurial journey, because we think success is the destination. It's not. Success is only a part of an ongoing journey. And I personally believe I cannot rest on yesterday's laurels. No matter how good somebody might say yesterday's show was, it has absolutely nothing to do with today. We have to earn our keep daily. We pray for our daily bread. Well, we got to do our daily work. So get a business. Follow your dream. Stop procrastinating. One of my mentors told me almost 20 years ago, if you don't follow your dream, you will regret it. So many people out here frustrated because they're doing jobs they don't really like. Then they take that frustration home. They take it out on their husband or their wife, the children, or they act out in other ways. Follow your dream. It will bring you some peace of mind. My godbrother did a sermon, Bishop Elliott. He did a sermon once. He said, follow your passion. Your passion will lead you to your purpose, and your purpose will lead you to peace. I tend to agree. Okay. Before I get to the next topic, let's see what folks are saying out here. You agree, Pern? Yes, yes. ACD Vaughn. Pernith, I think you related to everybody. It's my cousin. I didn't know this daughter, Lynette and Cassandra and Corrigan. Oh, I didn't know you know my dad. You didn't tell me that. Wow. Yes, Ruth Young Tyler. We have a phenomenal history. And on that note, I learned of a woman that I did not know of. Let me just get to it. First Black woman at the White House press. That's not right. First Black journalist at the White House. Alice Allison Dunnigan. That's her name. Let me see if I can get you a picture of her. Is that her? This might be her. Yep, that's her. Alice Allison Dunnigan. Famous picture. She's the first Black lady to cover the White House. And that's a huge thing. You know, we have to be at the White House. Let me tell you, and I don't know that it's necessarily written anywhere, but Frederick Douglass was one of the first Blacks up in the White House, and he had a newspaper. So we might have to correct that. I mean, Frederick Douglass was all that in a bag of chips. He went from a slave to whipping Mr. Covey's ass. That was my favorite part of his book. Mr. Covey was called an N-word breaker. The N breaker. That was Mr. Covey. Frederick Douglass was a strong Black man who happened to be enslaved. So they sent him down to Mr. Covey because Mr. Covey was supposed to give him a can of Act Right. And he went down there and broke Mr. Covey's back. You know one thing about a bully? You put that alley apple upside that head one good time, you will never have a problem out that bully again. Ever. And I don't advocate violence. I certainly believe in self-defense, standing my ground, whatever that means. What we find is a lot of people pick up a gun and all of a sudden they got courage. Or they got a group of people and they going against one or two people and they got courage. But head up, as my childhood friend AD said, they are coon boogers. Wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. But that's what we're dealing with here. Okay, so let me move on to the next piece. Oh, it wasn't Bethel. Who else we got? My man, you're a little late today, Mike. I'm watching the news this morning. And I got to tell you, Fox outworks the competition. They on when nobody else is on. That's why everybody watching. They have a series. Chris Papps, I believe his name is. He does this investigative series on Baltimore City Public Schools. And it's so sad to watch. It's so sad to watch people that we pay with our tax dollars. And I'm talking about Dr. Santalisa. When is she going to respond? When is the city council going to call this lady on the carpet? Are we responsible for education? Baltimore City, the mayor, City Hall. Who calls these people on the carpet? Who does a spot check on the money? Because somebody's stealing. I'm going to tell you why you know somebody's stealing. Because there haven't been any audits. People running for office. They running for mayor, comptroller, this office, that office. When people running for office, they say one thing. But once they get there, the tune changes because the person that's running for office is the outsider. But once you get in office, you're an insider. And your job is to protect the situation. Maybe we don't need elected officials. I mean, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. Baltimore is 9-1 Democrat. You ever wonder, because I know we are diehard Democrats, right? But we never ask any questions. We're just told to hate Republicans, right? But all my life, Baltimore been Democrat. But I've been taught to hate Republicans. When it's the Democrats in my city that screw my community. I got time. You want anybody disagree? Baltimore is 9-1 Democrat. Everything that go on here is by Democrats. When are we going to start looking at these Democrats? All we know is the Republican is the devil. No, I'm trying to tell you, some of your Democrats are devils. Now, I ain't saying I hate them. I don't hate nobody. But I am mindful of a Marianne Lasanti, a Democratic delegate out of Harford County. They call Prince George's County the N-word district. I am reminded of people who worked in the legislature who treated Black people as if slavery was still in effect. Quite frankly, I thought Peter Franchot, and still think, he is a slave owner. I'm glad he didn't win. He lied to us. He said he had a Black agenda. No, he didn't. Joe Gaskins wrote it. And then when Joe Gaskins left his camp, they weren't even wise enough to take it down. And you had a Black man defending him. He's the chair of the Black Caucus. His name is Darrell Barnes. He thought he was going to be Commerce Secretary. It's the truth. That's why he supported Franchot. And they went against a Black man. They went against Westmore. Some Black people went against Westmore. Hard in the paint. I'm telling you what I know. I'm okay with seeing white people go against a Black guy. That's to be expected. Not all white people. How can you not like West? I mean, the man put a premium on being from Baltimore. You have never heard nobody put under a limelight, under a spotlight, because they love Baltimore. Granted, somebody made a PR problem by not clarifying some things early. But in the big scheme of things, do I give a rat's ass where he was born? Do I care where Barack Obama was born? No. No, because the people who bring these things up, why don't you check where they come from? You know, the ones that go and marry Russian strippers. They're going to tell me about family values. She is a stripper, ain't she? People who consult with the Russians. All that rhetoric I've heard over my lifetime about Russia and the president of the United States is cozy with the Russians. Now, I don't know too many Russians, but I am aware of the Cold War. USSR versus US. I don't hate the Russians. They ain't never done nothing to me. It's like Vietnamese. That's somebody else's fight, just like abortion. Roe v. Wade is about saving white babies. I get it. The numbers are changing. The branding of America is a reality. And we're going to see a lot more desperate stuff than this. People going to get guns because they're afraid, oh, it's more them than us. So we got to get a gun. I wonder if everybody thought like that. Just what do you have? You got a country full of a whole bunch of people with guns, people who wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight, but they can shoot. A punk with a gun is a man, male or female. Because once you're in that jail cell, you ain't got no gun. Now what you gonna do? We have built a nation of scared people who are dependent on a gun, and you can't fight. And we'll go around, come around. So if that's the case, then why don't you start treating people nicely? I got news for you, white people, racist white people. Black people don't really give a damn about you. We ain't thinking about you. We ain't looking to beat you up, bust your head. Now, them squeegee kids might pluck one of y'all. But that can be avoided. Say, no, thank you. Smile. But sometimes people like going out to the zoo and sticking their hand in the lion's mouth. And that's going to get bit off. We are actually having daily discussions on the news about squeegee kids. Squeegee kids. Little kids making a few dollars. I want y'all to listen to me on this, and I won't be long. We're having daily discussions about the squeegee kids. Daily discussions, daily. All the news stations, all of them. The squeegee kids, they are black. The media is white, minus our media. We come to you daily, 7 different cities from across America. We got 20, 25 shows. But every day, the mainstream media is talking about the black squeegee kids. Every day, every single day, every single day. The squeegee kids, the squeegee kids, the squeegee kids. And that's why you have to look at the mainstream media with one eye at best. Because they're only going to tell you one side of the story. I want the mainstream media to come to Sandtown. And I'm going to show you what annoys us on a daily basis. And that's addicts walking in our alleys at 2 o'clock in the morning. Addicts who do not live here, who do not come from here, who do not fit the racial demographic of the majority of the citizens in this city. This is a black neighborhood. But outside my doors, we have addicts from outside who have all of a sudden just descended on the Sandtown, Pennsylvania Avenue, buying dope, shooting dope, dropping needles everywhere, crapping on the sidewalk. Not one story on the mainstream news about white addicts, black hood. And I promise you, go to my YouTube channel. I got a video, and that's the exact name of it. White addicts, black hood. I didn't share it on Facebook because they would have called me a racist. Fox can talk about the squeegee kids all day long, and ain't nobody called them racist. But let Doni talk about the white addicts in the black community, and I'm a racist, right? This is what I know. If black people were walking around Bolton Hill looking like a hot mess, they would lock us up as soon as we sit on the steps. Bump where the progressive policies are. Let a black addict go over there to Bolton Hill and mess around, creeping in somebody's yard like we have over here. So last night on the news, it came out that Marilyn Mosby's policies have been too progressive. It came out on the news that Brandon Scott, the mayor, his policies are too progressive. This is what I know. Since the consent decree, the police have taken a knee and they refuse to act. Now, I say, you got police that don't want to do their damn job. You got commanders who are ordering it. Sound like they don't belong here. Sound like what it really sound like now that they can't blame Marilyn Mosby no more. You see what they trying to do. They trying to pit Ivan Bates against the mayor. Yesterday was day 2. It's kind of like back in elementary school where people are nudging 2 people on to fight. Ivan ain't trying to fight that man. And I appreciate what the mayor said. He said, we're going to sit down like grown men and talk about this. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tell him and tell him again and tell him again. Media got to let people be people. Let the process work. No sooner as Marilyn Mosby lose, now they on to the next. Who we going to blame now? I wish you'd just come out and say how you really feel. You don't like black politicians. You want all white politicians. And on that note, you see, first person that they're going to push up on us is Zeke Cohen. Nice guy. Met him a couple of times. Don't really know him. I heard he led a march over here in Penn North, which was startling. But we welcome people to come to our neighborhood. And on that note, if you're running for office, don't wait till the election year to come over here. I've never seen Shannon Sneed in West Baltimore until his last campaign. Never. She running citywide. Now she's running statewide. Well, not running anymore. You can't wait until an election year. One thing I can tell you about West Baltimore, I've always seen him in Baltimore. I got videos of it. Nobody can say the man wasn't here. We can say that some of these other people aren't here, haven't been here, weren't here. Rashawn Baker, show you how much he know. He listening to Fox. Hey, to each their own. But you're not going to endear yourself to the black community if you only on Fox. There's 13, there's 11, there's 2, there's the Sun, there's the Banner. But people they just want to do one angle. And there are consequences. You got to talk to everybody. A lot of people don't want to talk to Fox. I encourage my candidates to talk to everybody. Do not run from the media. The media is a double-edged sword, but it can help you get your message out there. Yeah. I'm going to go back and read some of your comments. I think I talked about everything I wanted to cover today. But it really burns me up there about them squeegee kids all day, every day, like it's you know. All right, so Big Brother Manny, as citizens, we absolutely need to hold our elected officials to task. So on that note, if you need to get in touch with your city council people, call 410-396-3100. 410-396-3100. 410-396-3100. If you need your state elected officials, call 410-841-3000. 410-841-3000. My thing about the school system is people say they're going to build casinos, put money in school, but they still don't have working air books. Say it again, Nina. Say it again, Nina. Say it again, Nina. You damn right. 1973, we were in the 3rd grade. They pushed Maryland State Lottery down our throats. I bet you none of you know how much money the Maryland State Lottery has collected. I'm going to tell you, at least $15 billion. So why don't we have the school that Nina and I went to, Matthew Henson? We got a decent education, and there was no lottery money or table gambling money. But the Democrats, remember, early tried to get slots. The Democrats said no. Rejected people like Delegate Tiger Davis, who were talking about equity deals, where we would be getting a percentage of all revenue coming in. But we let tricky old Martin O'Malley, whose wife just got stomped in the last election, we let him go with the slots. This was a man who felt no need to address historically black colleges and universities. Felt no need to give them money. But the Democrats then, when Hogan come in, oh, Hogan don't want to support HBCUs. Why didn't you say that to Martin O'Malley? You were quiet as a church mouse urinating on cotton because he intimidated a lot of y'all. Yes, he did. He was a bully, and you let him bully you. And then you're out of power. You're out of office. And you're crying and you're whining. Slavery is over. You can stop that Willie Lynch sucking up to other people type thing. Suck up to your own people. Love your own people. We forgive Bill Clinton. I don't forgive him. Locked up all them black people. Omnibus crime bill in 94. That's why Hillary Clinton ain't going nowhere. The same way Katie O'Malley ain't going nowhere. She's going to be a judge. She's not going to be attorney general this go round. Talked about Anthony Brown. He didn't do this, he do that. But he was good enough to be your husband's lieutenant governor for 8 years. A loyal soldier. Loyal soldier. Got him no points. He get out there and announce he's running for attorney general. A day later, Katie O'Malley gonna get out there and announce she's running. That's how you treat your friends? For real? That's how you treat your lieutenant? And the people in Prince George's County were furious. Big ups to you, Attorney General Anthony Brown. Now, for all you black people who's saying this person ain't black enough, this person ain't black enough, I'm going to tell you this. When Major League Baseball integrated, they did not take Satchel Paige as the first player. They didn't take Josh Gibson as the first player. They took Jackie Robinson for one reason, because they knew Jackie wasn't going to bust somebody upside their damn head if they called him the N-word or threw a brick at his head. He was going to be more controlled and disciplined. Where Satchel Paige was going to go up in the stands and pimp slap anybody, whatever color they were. You put your hands on him. He was no slouch. And you gonna go call the home run king the N-word? Yeah, you want to see that bat go upside your head? Show some respect. But my point is, the first one in, Barack Obama. All right, we all wanted more from Barack Obama. But honestly, for the first 4 years, I just prayed that they didn't kill the man. And a lot of you prayed the same thing, because we could not believe America let a black man in charge there. And this black woman, gorgeous black woman, and her mama gave that man hell. The first one in the door is not going to get us so far. The first one in the door is still critical and essential and important. We ought to be thinking about who the next one's going to be. And it ain't enough to say you're AKA. It ain't enough to say you're Alpha. We want to know you got Sumerian Barry in your blood. And I'm talking about looking out for black businesses. We want to know you got some Maynard Jackson in your DNA. That you want to make sure black businesses get a fair piece of the pie. Period. The same way other people get gifts and passes and dollar houses. Property down on the harbor given to a white nonprofit for $1. Don't make me call names. No, you weren't alone, Francho. Good for you. They are many things about them. I was up in their studio the other day. They did acknowledge, and let me give them their props, Mr. Emmanuel Price. Thanks to Mark Clark. Fox was actually the first news outlet to acknowledge Be More News' 20th year of business and service. Now imagine that. The news outlet that many love to hate is the only one I could get to cover our 20th year in business. Fox acknowledged our 20 years in business. I like that. I appreciate that. Sun didn't do it. Baltimore Banner didn't do it. 1311-2 ain't do it. They did it. The Sun I reached out to them. The banner reached out to them, know them personally. I got nothing but crickets. Thank you, Fox. You only see these elected officials when it's time to campaign. Well, we about to see one of them, and one of them work for the city council, and we gonna call his butt on the carpet maybe tomorrow. I didn't get my guest lined up. Anthony Brown Black now. He may have had some sea legs early on, but he black now, and he know it. And he know black people put him in office, along with other nice people. Truth will set you free. I am glad they did it. I'm very grateful. Thank you, Fox 45. Despite all of the stories that you do that I don't like, I gotta acknowledge. If you do good, I'm gonna tell you did good. If you did bad, I'm gonna tell you did bad. And I believe this: if I can be hypercritical of you when you do wrong, then I gotta be the first in line when you do right. And they were the only ones who acknowledge BeMoreNews.com. And for the record, I said 20 years ago when we came up with Be More News, even black people called it ghetto. While I was up there on the station, Fox there, I saw the Be More lifestyle. Mary Pat Clark told me about Be More Dog. Mary Pat Clark said that Be More is everywhere now. I guess we set a trend. My name's Donnie Glover. That's all for today. Mr. Harlem Blue is coming up at 10 a.m. Do look out for Mr. Troy Rollins, live from Los Angeles, 12 noon Monday through Friday. And I will be on WEAA tonight, Morgan State University, Hip Hop Chronicles with DJ Mike Nice. He calls himself DJ Nice and Nasty. I told him, I'm not calling you nice and nasty. I'm not calling you delicious. That's what the comedian said. That show comes on at midnight. And I will always support you back, Pranitha. Thank you for your love. Our guest tonight will be Kurt Anderson's daughter, Amber Anderson. She's in a new movie with Marvin Sapp. So proud of Amber. And dude, hey there, Queen. Top of the morning to you. Thank you for all the love. Do check out our advertisers. Let's just go through them while I have a minute. Mr. Billy Murphy, Bishop Barry, Joe Mann's Awards is still open. Next Phase Cafe, Mr. Tony Randall. And of course, one of our huge supporters and hosts, Mr. Michael Haney. Allen and Son, thank you, Mr. Allen. Edible Arrangements, that's Mr. Kevin Setzer. If you need drug or alcohol treatment, call Divine Light 443-552-1460. 443-552-1460. Our Black Business Month event is 8/22/22. I wonder what did I see all of them twos when I set that date. Down at Casey's spot, go to Black Business Month. We'll be in Harlem on August 12th. I love going to New York City. You're welcome to go with me. We got a spot. STEM City USA, Robert DeShield. Edible Arrangements, Mr. Kevin Setzer. Yes, ma'am. Tune in tonight, midnight, WEAA, where we educate African Americans, founded on the campus of Morgan State University. My name is Donnie Glover. Up to date, down tomorrow. Do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it, regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Hey, you want to say hello? Come here. You want to say hello? He ain't not going to say hello. That's Pharaoh. Have a good day. Hug somebody, put some bleach on your steps, and tip the trash man. Trash man got the dirtiest job on earth. You got a couple dollars, give the trash man a tip. They're picking up the dirty trash. And you know what? Put some bleach and some Fabuloso in your trash can. You know, knock down the funky smell from the crabs, whatever else. Pick up your trash. They just cut out grass over in the park and people throwing plastic bottles. Pick up your trash. There's nothing uglier than seeing a pretty girl throw down some trash. She is ugly all of a sudden.